Hi friends, let us study a new lesson, a landscape of the soul by Nathalie Travoro. So, do you know who this Nathalie Travoro was? She was an art historian and wife of Guy Trouveroy, who was who is ex-Belgian ambassador, to India. So her husband was Belgian, ambassador to India, and she became so famous by translating a book by name City of Dins. Actually, it is it's a travelogue story of our capital city, Delhi. Okay, now that book was published by one Mr. William, Dalrymple. Okay, now Dalrymple. It's not that familiar to us. Anyhow, she became so famous. She is a wife of Belgian former ex-Belgian ambassador to India, Guy Trouveroy. Landscape of the soul. You know what is soul, you know what is landscape, but here the landscape is a painting, yes, especially Chinese painting. So how does it, include the soul? Okay, we will see that. What does it mean by landscape of the soul? How far the title is apt, we are going to see through this essay when we come through it. Okay, now let us begin. A wonderful old tale, story, is told about the painter Wu Daoxi. See, he was a Chinese painter of Tang's dynasty. So which ruled China for long decades and around centuries or so. Who lived in 8th century. This Chinese painter, Wu Daoxi. So Daoism we are going to see through this essay. Okay, now he lived in 8th century. Yes. His last painting was a landscape. Commissioned by Tang Emperor. Tang is a dynasty that ruled China for many decades. How long, actually I am not that sure how long Tang dynasty ruled China. I will refer in the next video, part 2. Okay, now? So anyhow, Tang dynasty ruled China for many decades. We will find out. Okay, I will find out for you. Okay. So it was to be commissioned by Tang Emperor, Xuanzong. Chinese names, Japanese names in a way comedy for us. Okay, na? Xuanzong. So Xuanzong. So he was a Chinese emperor. He was to commission his last painting. Painting of Wu Daoxi. Yes. What does Daoism stands? We are going to see as part of this essay. Anyhow, his last painting. So he made several paintings, and the last painting was to be commissioned by the emperor himself. To decorate a palace wall. It was meant to decorate the palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen. The master painter, or Wu Daoxi, he was hiding the painting. You see, where was it? Behind a screen, so that people won't see. Only a king can see it. Okay, so only the emperor would see it. Others by no means can see it. Only emperor can see that painting. So he was hiding it, behind a screen. Yes, for a long while the emperor admired the wonderful scene, the landscape painting. So for long he admired, enjoyed the beauty of the painting, the wonderful painting it was. Yes, discovering forests, high mountains, the significance of mountains we are going to see. That is the essence of our, a story. What is a mountain? What does it stand for? We are going to see. We will see. Remember this. In this painting there were so many mountains, high mountains, waterfalls, presence of mountain as well as waterfall, clouds floating in the immense sky, huge vast sky, clouds floating, men on the hilly parts, birds in flight. Everything was there. On that painting, everything was there. This is a typical Taoist painting, in which mountains were there, waterfalls were there, clouds were there, animals were there, men also were there. That is the essence of Taoist painting. The meaning of it we are going to see little later. Okay now? So don't forget this. So in that painting there were a lot of mountains, waterfalls, presence of mountain as well as water. Okay. Look sir, said the painter. In this cave, at the foot of the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain there is a cave. Dwells a spirit. Hey, there dwells a spirit at the foot of the mountain. You have to see that. Look here, sir. At the foot, at the bottom of the mountain, there is a spirit. It can be supernatural, whichever, no problem. We don't know exactly what spirit is that. There dwells, there resides a spirit at the foot of the mountain. Yes, the painter clapped his hands. Then he clapped his hands. And the entrance to the cave opened. When he clapped the hands, the entrance of the cave was opened. See, understand that there was no cave, only a painting. See, you can see in that painting there were a lot of mountains, waterfalls, trees, animals and men also were there. So at the foot of that mountain, at the bottom of the mountain, there was a cave. There was a cave at the foot or at the bottom of the mountain. And the painter clapped his hands. When he clapped the hands, the cave, where? In the painting. The cave was opened. Yes. Okay. So, the inside is splendid beyond anything words can convey. The inside of the cave, see, it was so beautiful. So it cannot be as described, narrated by words. See, unexplainable. So wonderful scenes were there inside the cave. In the painting there was a cave at the foot of the mountain. And the cave was opened. When the painter clapped his hands, the cave was opened. And inside there was a lot of wonderful scenes. Yes, the words can never convey that much beautiful and wonderful were the scenes inside the cave. Please let me show your majesty the way. Yes, let me show you the way. Underline that. Yes, all of you underline, that is the essence of our story. Let me show you the way. Even emperor, the king, the ruler cannot find the way inside it. To show him the way, there should be a painter. He stands for artist. Only an artist can show him the way into the soul of the painting. Into the soul. Only an artist can lead him. Yes, only he can show him the way. Emperor cannot go there, enter there by himself. I can show. Let me show you the way. Yes. Let me show your majesty the way. There is something mysterious in this. We will see that. We will see a little later. So I can show you the way. I will show you the way. Only I can show. Only an artist can show the emperor the way inside, into the soul. Yes, the painter entered the cave. The painter entered the cave. But the entrance closed behind him. As soon as he entered the cave, the entrance was closed behind him. And before the astonished emperor could move or utter a word, he couldn't say a word. Why? There is a painting on the wall, landscape painting. There was a cave and the cave was opened. And he entered through the cave. The door was closed forever. The painting had vanished from the wall. Suddenly, Suddenly the entire painting vanished, disappeared from the wall. It was disappeared. Beyond description why, how and why it happened in such a way. The emperor could not speak utter even a single word. Before that, the entire painting vanished from that wall. See, nobody could understand why it happened, how it happened, what is the meaning of that. The entire painting disappeared. Yes. Not a trace of wood of his brush was left. Not a single mark of that painting was left on the wall. And the artist was never seen again in this world. The artist also disappeared. The artist also disappeared. So he has reached the perfection of his life. That's the meaning of that. So he disappeared. His life is perfect, completed, attained his motto, aim, and he disappeared from the scene. He was seen no more. He went into the cave and the door was closed and the painting disappeared. With the painting, the artist also disappeared and he was never to be seen again. Such stories played an important part. Actually, it is a story. It is believed to be a story. It is believed it was true, it happened. Chinese people say, see, maybe people from generation to generation tell the stories to next generation, but true or not, there is no proof. Stories are there like this. You see, such kind of stories played an important part in China's classical education. These kinds of stories played a vital role, an important part in China's classical education. The books of Confucius, a great philosopher and politician too, and Zhuangzi are full of them. In their books, philosophers like Confucius and Zhuangzi, in their book, these kinds of stories are in abundance. A lot of stories are there like this. They helped the master to guide his disciple. These kinds of stories helped the master to guide his disciples in the right direction. These stories guide the master to guide his disciples in the right directions. So something is told through a story, it is very easily understood. That is why our Puranas are all full of stories. Something told in the form of a story can easily be understood. Is it not so? If a moral is told directly, nobody listen to it. Even if you listen, it won't go into your head. But story, the incident, all will remain in your mind. Later on, you will think about the story. Then you get the meaning behind it, hidden inside it. Yes, there is a story behind. There is a lesson behind it. You grasp it slowly. Is it not so? Any book like that? No. That is why a book grows according to the growth of the reader's mind. A good book grows according to the growth of the reader's mind. Says Bacon, Francis Bacon, the great essayist, says. In the same way, is it not so? Yes, these kind of stories help the master to guide his disciple in the right direction. Beyond the anecdote. You see? What is anecdote? Actually, simply means it's an incident or story. But anecdote is a story about a real incident. See, it's a story about something really happened. For example, the great film, Titanic. Actually, it is a story of Jack and Rose, But it is based on a real shipwreck. No, shipwreck not a catastrophic. Okay, ship was wrecked by the snowstorm, agreed, but still, it cannot be called a shipwreck. Shipwreck generally, ship will come and hit at some rocks or something and breaks into pieces, etc. Because of waves and all. Okay. Anyhow, it really happened. It went down into the sea. So, based on a real instance, anecdote. Yes. Beyond the story, you see, or anecdote, or incident, or what really happened, beyond the story, they are deeply revealing the spirit in which art was considered. So, beyond the story of it, these kind of stories reveal. What do they reveal? The spirit in which art was considered. Yes, painting means work of art. Art is expression of beauty, isn't it so? All art forms are some kind of expression of beauty. Yes, they are beauty creators, isn't it so? Really. So, revealing the spirit of, in which art was considered. So what was the role of the art that is revealed through these kinds of stories? So the very important place art has got during those days was expressed through these stories. Contrast this story. Now you contrast this story with what I am going to tell. Another famous one about a painter who wouldn't draw the eye of a dragon. He painted. He was unwilling to draw the eye of a dragon. Dragon. Devil or evil, something like that with extraordinary powers, dragon. Okay, now? So he was unwilling to draw the eye or eyes of a dragon. Why? For fear that it would fly out from the painting. If eyes also are painted, it would be just like living, or it would get life. The painter thought that it is as real as a real dragon. If eyes also are painted, it will really become a dragon and it will fly away. Dragons are horrible creatures having, what's that? Wings also. You see, creeping creatures, something like a snake and all, big snake and all, with the wings and all, imaginary creature. Okay, now. So, if he had drawn that, eyes also, he was afraid that the dragon really would get life and it would fly away from the painting, because it was as lively as that, full of life, as equal as a living creature. So he was afraid that if at all he draws an eye or eyes to the dragon really will fly away from the painting. He really thought like that. That's a story, another story. Okay, now. With an old story from my native Flanders. Another story the author is going to tell from my native Flanders in Belgium. Okay, now? Yes. So, ex-Belgian, okay, na? Ambassador's wife, she is. So, in my own place, she says, I have told you, Belgian ambassador's wife, she is. Okay, my own native Flanders that I find most representative of Western painting. So, first we saw Chinese painting. Now, we are going to see an example of Western painting. Yes, Belgium, okay, na? Western country. In 15th century, Antwerp, there's a port city in Belgium. In 15th century, a master blacksmith called Quinten Mestis. He was a blacksmith, goldsmith, blacksmith. Blacksmith works with iron, isn't it so? Goldsmith with gold, okay, na? Carpenter with wood, mason with cement, etc. Okay, na? So a blacksmith fell in love with a painter's daughter. He fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. How can a painter? Painter means having great status in society. Also, all are respecting him. So he got a high status in society. And blacksmith means what? People thought, okay, working with iron and all. Is it not so? So he was not having that much a good name. So a painter would never permit his daughter to be sent to marry with a blacksmith. Okay. So Quinten sneaked in the painter's studio. So came secretly without getting noticed in the studio where he does his painting, and painted a fly on his latest panel. So panel arranged for painting, canvas or panel. Okay, now. So he painted a fly, a small fly on his, something like our canvas. Okay, panel where the painting is being done. Such a delicate realism, mother word realism, it is as real as original. See, delicate realism, it was as real as original as that the master tried to swat it away, chase it away. When the master came, the painter came, he went chasing the fly away. Hey. Because he thought the fly was real. It was as real as a real fly that the master began chasing the fly away because he thought it was a real fly. Yes, see, before he realized what had happened, Then later he realized it is not a fly, it is a painting. He was shocked to find that such a wonderful painting someone could make. He was so shocked, such a wonderful painting it was. Yes, Quinton was immediately admitted. Immediately he was given admission as an apprentice into his studio, as a trainee into his studio. Yes, later on, apprentice he became. Then he got into acquaintance with the master's daughter. Slowly they became friends. He became a friend of his master in every way. And what happened? He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. Yes, he became one of the most famous painters of his time, of his age. Yes. These two stories illustrate. This is a story about Western painting as real as original. See, even original would rival with the real painting. As real as the original. These two stories, is it not so? Illustrate or explain what each form of art is trying to achieve. Chinese painting and Western painting. Each form of art is trying to achieve a perfect illusionistic likeness, unreal likeness in Europe. European painting stands for a perfect but illusionistic, not real, not original. Not real, see, likeness means reality, original in Europe. That is a symbol of, European painting. The essence of inner life, that is the essence of spirit in Asia. China means Asia, okay now. So the essence of Chinese painting or Asian painting is what? Inner life is, demonstrated. The spirit, the soul is demonstrated in Chinese painting. Whereas European painting shows, what does it show? What is it? Illusionistic likeness. Realism. Realism was, illusionistic realism was the essence of Western painting, whereas Chinese painting exhibit, what is that? Inner life. Inner life. That is soul of Chinese or Asian painting. Let's continue with the next paragraph. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting. Emperor came to commission, to inaugurate a painting and appreciates its outer appearance. The emperor is able to appreciate the outer appearance of the painting. Only outer, not inner. The emperor is not able to understand the inner meaning of it. The emperor is unable to understand the inner meaning of the painting. He is not able to really understand the meaning of an art and artistic work. Yes. Okay. And appreciates only his outer appearance. But the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. The artist revealed to him. Only an artist can reveal to him. Only an artist can reveal to him. What's that? The true meaning of his work. Yes. To reveal the true meaning of his work, an artist should be there. Only an artist can do that. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered. Of course, emperor he can rule the kingdom, his territory. He can conquer new countries, no problem. Okay, very good, well and good. But only the artist knows the way within. Yes, the way within, into the soul. The soul of the art can be shown only by an artist. Only an artist knows the way within. That is why he said, let me show the way, Taoist painting. Let me show the way, I can show, only I can show the way. Let me show the way, that is why he said, the Tao, yes, Taoist painting, Taoist. A word that means both path or the method. The word Tao means path or the method and the mysterious works of the universe. Tao, the word itself means the mysterious, is not so, unexplained works of the universe. The painting is gone, disappeared, but the artist has reached his goal. Yes, the artist, the painter, he has reached his goal. His motto is achieved, goal is attained. beyond any material appearance. No material appearance. The painting is vanished forever and forever, and the artist too is vanished. So his purpose is achieved, so he vanishes from the paint, from the wall, from the painting, everything disappeared. That is Chinese painting and European painting. So European painting means what? Illusionistic likeness or realism. But Chinese or Asian painting reveals the spirit or the soul of the universe. Okay now? Yes. Okay. Inner life and spirit is shown by Chinese or Asian painting. That is essence of Chinese painting. Mainly we see in this lesson essence of Chinese painting. Yes. Shall we move on to the next paragraph? A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. A classical Chinese painting is not meant for, to reproduce an actual view. So you can look at some trees, mountains and paint it as it is. That is not the purpose of Chinese painting. Not reproducing as it is seen or shown. That is not the function of Chinese painting. As would a Western figurative painting. Yes, figurative painting. So I explained once literal meaning and figurative meaning. Is it not so? Yes. See, apart from what is seen, what is expressed, there is a special meaning. There is a figurative meaning. Not word by word meaning or what is seen. So, hidden or beyond what is expressed or seen. That is figurative meaning. Okay now, a Western figurative painting. So, some symbols might be there. For example, suppose if a leaf falling, the falling of a leaf, yellowish leaf, can stand for death. That is figurative meaning. What we see on the painting is that a yellow leaf is slowly falling down. But it can signify death. Is not so? Suppose a man sitting under a tree and a yellow leaf coming, it can signify many. See, we can read it in different ways. What does the painter really means, we have to think and understand. And we can give our own definition also accordingly. Okay now? So there can be symbolism. There can be many hidden meanings can be there. Is it not so? Yes. So figurative meaning, suppose some lines only you might be seeing, but it may stand for something else. If you think deeply in the soul of the painting, only then you will understand the meaning of it. Not what is seen outside. Is not? More is meant than meets the eye. That word is quite apt and suitable here. More is meant than meets the eye. What we see, that is not the real meaning. Beyond what is seen, there is some extra meaning. This more is meant than meets the eye. Okay. Whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it. The European painter wants you to see through his eyes. Borrow his eyes means what? So he wants you to see the way he painted it, not in your own way. He does not give you the freedom to view it, evaluate it, see it in your own viewpoint. He does not give the freedom. That is not the function of Western painting. Okay, from a specific angle, the Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint, whereas the Chinese painter gives you freedom. You can view in a different ways, different angles. In your own viewpoint, you can view that. Okay, his landscape is not a real one. The landscape of the Chinese painter is not a real one, and you can enter it from any point. Not the point that Western painter wants you to enter, but in any point you can enter. Okay, then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again. See, the artist gives you freedom. So travel whichever way. That means through the painting means using your mind. You can travel through that painting. Up and down. Is it straight also? No problem. Whichever way you want. So he gives you the choice to travel through the painting in whichever way you like to travel. Okay now? Then see up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. You are free to view it in whichever way you would like to. This is even more true in the case of a horizontal scroll. Horizontal, see, straight, vertical and horizontal. Same done with the horizon. Okay now? Yes. In which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other, you see, adds a dimension of time which is unknown to any other form of painting. Yes, he gives you freedom to view it in different viewpoints, different angles. Viewer, the audience is free to enter at any point, any viewpoint into the painting, and he can travel up and down, straight, horizontal, vertical, in whichever way, and he can evaluate and judge in his own way that he likes to. He does not see the painting as the painter wants you to see it. You are free to see in whichever way you want to. Okay, it also requires the active participation of the viewer. You see, to understand the painting, you must participate actively. Who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting, in which speed you will be traveling through the painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental. You must participate physically as well as mentally. Means your mind should be moving through the painting to understand with its deeper meaning. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes. Like European painter, he does not want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. Yes, you must be able to view and see his mind. The landscape is an inner one. The landscape that you see is not outer one but a inner one. A spiritual and conceptual space. Conceptual means of the mind. Actually, conceptual space together means a geometrical structure, you see, representing number of quality dimensions. That means it can be viewed in different dimensions. Okay, na? It is something of the spirit and of the mind. You can see it in any way you want to see it. He gives you freedom to see it, evaluate it, whichever way you want to see the painting. That freedom is given by the Chinese painter and not by the European painter. That is the essence of Chinese painting. So Chinese landscape painting we are going to see in the next paragraph, and the essence of our lesson is that the landscape of the soul, what does it mean? We will see in the next paragraph and in the next video part 2. Thank you.